It is Friday again, and what does that mean? It means my favorite way, and hopefully your favorite way, to get to know your Atlas recruiter, the often imitated, never duplicated Atlas MedStaff 5-Question Friday. With me this week, senior recruiter Colleen Fritsche.
Hello, how's everyone doing?
All right, so here's the thing. I went back and watched our original 5-Question Friday from 2016, because that's what you started with us, and then 7 months later, I trapped you at your desk and made you do this. Right before you moved to Michigan and all the crazy stuff that happened in your life, and we'll get to that. So first question, always the same. Tell me who Colleen Fritsche is.
I love people. I would say that I love doing things for people. I love my family, very big family person. I have 2 kids. They are 13 and 10. Kellen is the oldest. He is into baseball, basketball, football. My daughter is 10. Her name is Kinley. She's doing a little bit of tennis and volleyball, but we are a huge sports family. I played tennis and volleyball in college, just always have been around sports. My husband was a big basketball coach, and so that's kind of how people know him is basketball. That's the only way they know him. He is now the athletic director at Northwest in Grand Island. The other thing about me besides my family, I love concerts. That's kind of my favorite thing to do if I get a chance to do something for me. My kids kind of are starting to talk me into wanting to take them to concerts. They've gone to a couple, but it's kind of hard because they're young. The other thing I love to do is make drinks. I love experimenting drinks. So that's kind of how a lot of people know me too. It's just if we're ever doing things together, they're like, "Oh, Colleen, make us some." And I just we'll make something. And sometimes it's great and sometimes it's not. That's from working at a restaurant. I worked in a restaurant for a really long time, 19 years actually. But now I don't live in Omaha anymore. I live in Grand Island. Back in Nebraska. We talked about Michigan a little bit, but we're back in Nebraska. We've been back for 4 years now. June of 4 years.
Actually, little known fact, and we talked about this last time, I knew your husband before I even knew you. That's why I wore my Jayhawk hat today, specifically just for him. So,
awesome.
That's how
he's going to love that.
So question number 2, catch me up. So last time we talked in this forum right here, not the last time we talked, but the last time we talked in this forum right here, you'd only been a recruiter for 7 months. You were getting ready to move to Michigan. Fast forward, however many years, 8 years later? Catch me up on where you're at.
Yeah. So when we were in Omaha, when I was started at Atlas, Matt was actually coaching the women's team at Creighton, and he decided he really wanted to be a head coach again. That moved us to Hillsdale, Michigan. He was a head coach there at Hillsdale College. I want to say he was 4 years, but maybe it was only 3. Yeah, I think he had just finished his 4th year. And then that's when COVID hit. He was he couldn't work. He's a huge workaholic. That's just who he is. And they wouldn't let him go into the office at all because they shut Michigan down right away. So it was I want to say April and maybe beginning of May. And this job opened up for athletic director position at Northwest. And he actually applied without even telling me. And then it was on a Thursday, and then on a Friday they called him and they wanted to interview him on Monday. It was a huge whirlwind. We were like, wait, what? And so he interviewed Monday. I think he got the job that day. And the next thing I knew, 2 weeks later, we were moving back. Thankfully, you guys have let me working from home is a lot more common now. But when I first went to Michigan, it wasn't. And I was scared to ask. And I told him he couldn't actually take that Michigan job unless you guys were okay with it, because it wasn't fair to me to move me 10 hours from everything I knew if my job wasn't going to allow for that. So I'm still thankful for that. And honestly, I was scared to work from home back then. I was a social butterfly, but because I was a social butterfly, it's probably the best thing for my career because I could focus more on being the social with the nurses and not my coworkers.
And not with us here in the office every day, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I did miss you when you moved, but I think you're 100% right. And we had always had remote recruiters before, but we never had someone remote from Omaha leave the office and go someplace else. And so it was an experiment, and it worked out. It turned out just fine.
It was good. I didn't think I could do it, to be honest with you. I mean, I was in front of people with my job before that all the time, and not being in front of people, I was nervous about it, but we made the best of Michigan. It was fine. We made some really, really good friends. I have one friend from there that I still get together with all the time. It was great, but we're back.
Question number 3, you're going with us to TravCon this year in Las Vegas. Again, you've been there before. You're going with us again this year. Whether you like Las Vegas or not, like, what's your favorite part of that type of city? Las Vegas, or, something, there's no clocks there, right? You never sleep, really. What's your favorite part of it all?
When I was in my 20s, Vegas was like my jam. Like, that was my thing. I would go 3 or 4 times a year. Friends, family, kind of everybody. I loved it. Got a little harder as I got a little older. My kids got more involved and stuff like that. But the thing I like about Vegas most is it's never the same. Like, every time I've ever gone, it's different. Whether it's a relaxing trip, whether it's a going out trip. We don't do the clubs anymore. I'm growing out of that. I used to gamble a lot. Now I will if the people I'm with are doing it. If not, I don't need to do it. But that's probably my favorite thing, is just that everything's always different. I do like to try different foods, like a total foodie. I love food. And they have a lot of different food there. And so, yeah, there's so many things to do. Like, even if Vegas isn't for you, there's something for you.
Who or what inspires you?
I feel like that has changed a lot throughout the years. So I'd say now probably my kids. They're always watching, right? Like, you think they're not listening, but they are. When things like are going really well with my job or my life or whatever, they know it. If things aren't going I'm very cautious about showing emotion in front of my kids. Like, if I'm scared about something, I don't show it. But if things are great, then I try to show it. But they still see it. Work ethic wise, I'd probably say my husband or my dad. Like, my dad was always at work growing up. Now he's like, go do all the things. He's older, and all I did was work, and now I have money to do things, but I don't feel like doing things. Like, I'm older and whatever. He used to tease me when I would go to Vegas all the time, because at the time I worked at the restaurant with him. He would be like, oh, you're going to Vegas again, or you're going to do that again? But now he's like, go do it. Go do all the things, which I think is interesting.
Question number 5, if you could go anywhere in the world, where would you go? And I went back and looked. I want to see if the answer is still the same.
In the world would be Italy. That's been on my bucket list forever. My family's Italian. I don't look it, but if you saw my family, you see all the big Italian, 100% dark skin, dark hair, big nose, my dad would say. But and for the food, I'd say Italy. And then close behind it, which is also on there, I've always wanted to go to the Kentucky Derby. I've never been. My dad has had racehorses my whole life. And so I think taking him to the Kentucky Derby might be ahead of Italy, just because I think it'd be cool to take him.
Italy was your answer last time too, so I guess I'm not surprised, right? I mean, look, secretly, I know people in your family. Like, I've interacted with them over the years, especially at the at the steakhouse here. If you want a good old school Omaha steak, that's where you would go to Casio's Steakhouse. I can't talk enough about it. We go there often.
I was the other day, we made steaks, and I was like, oh, I haven't had a steak forever, because I won't order one anywhere, because I'm just used to only ordering them there. So
right. Yeah. And they're different there. I mean, different in a very good way. This is the part where I would say, if Colleen sounds like a recruiter for you, here's all of her contact information. But she's been doing this for so long, you probably know her name, and you're familiar with her through us. But still, we'll put all of her contact information right down there. And I'll tell you what, if you come to Omaha, she will come here. She'll come back here, and we'll all go to Casio's and have a steak.
I have a nurse there I need to take there. I need to make a trip there and take her there.
And I need an excuse to go, so there you go.
Yeah, sounds good.
Colleen, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I hope to see you here in Omaha very soon.
Yeah, hope so too.
We'll see you next time.